school. Okay. Yeah, we've got basketball players, football players, runners up here. We'd like to see these guys in action. All right, folks, it is just about time to roll here. Thanks for coming. It's good to see you. My name is Travis Macy. I'm an English teacher and instructional coach at Evergreen High School. These guys are the stars of the show. I tell you what, I think it's pretty cool that students are willing to come to a place like this, speak for a room full of adults. Why don't we give these guys a round of applause? That may have been part of the draw, but you'll find out their names as we go through. And again, just thanks for coming. Okay, let's fire away here. Here's our first question. Hopefully you've got a clicker somewhere near you, and the idea is that there's one clicker for every 2 people. So if you don't have one, raise your hand. We've got a couple more up here. We can hand these out. The question here is, how do and or should advancements in technology change instruction? You can think about teaching in general. You can think about English or reading in particular. So take a minute here. You should be able to start typing on your clicker there. You got a whole keypad, and the idea was one for every 2 people. First, talk about it, okay? So chat with someone next to you, come up with some ideas, and then start putting them in, okay? So now typing in. And then once your answer is in, hit submit at the upper right-hand corner, and it'll go to question number 2. If it says 2 of 6, then you've answered number 1, and it should be in. So take a look. Here are some of the answers coming up. If you haven't seen these before, these are the smart clickers. If you see your answer up there, that means you got it in. Yeah, so take a look. We got good stuff going up. We should stay current, engage kids. Technology should support students to be 21st century learners. Used as a tool. Empower. I don't like that. Empower. Nice kind of Twitter language going on. Should enhance, not take over. That's a good one. I think I heard a conversation up here about that. Okay, all good ideas. Preparing students for after high school. All right, so we got some thoughts flowing here. Really, I just sat in on part of the session by Bob Probst and his colleagues. Is anyone else in that? Yeah. I promised that this content was planned, like before I saw what they were doing. I didn't try to steal anything, but a lot of overlap, and I think they talked a lot about the why. Why should we do this? Why should we kind of be thinking about teaching in new ways? And hopefully this is a bit of how. I'm hoping that you might be able to go home with an idea that you want to use sometime soon. Again, the website is drivenlearningandteaching.com. If there's anything that you want to write down, that would be it. We don't have handouts because everything is online, and I figure we might as well save some trees and you can simply use what you use. So drivenlearningandteaching.com, you'll see this Prezi. It's under conference presentations. The student examples, the videos, all those kind of things that we show are all available on there. You're more than welcome to use anything. Use and adjust it. Do whatever you need to do. All right, let's hop into action here. Talking about a driven classroom, and I'd like to start with some philosophical foundation and really food for thought, which begins with, most importantly, something that one of our students has created here. This is Riley. What do you think, Riley? Any introduction, or should we just show it and then chat about it?
I'll let you guys know what's going on after it's done, I guess.
Okay. Riley made this actually, all these guys made something similar to this, working in groups. Here's what Riley came up with.
A society like this simply cannot function over a long period of time. Human emotions are the strongest things on this earth. Regardless of your system, you cannot overcome them. Basically what the assignment was for that was we had to, well, what Mr. Macy likes to teach us is to be literate in ways other than just reading and writing. So what it was called was a multiple intelligences piece, and basically what you work on is you have to make a video or something other than a book project or a paper you write. And so I made this video, and basically I went into it not knowing much about iMovie or how to make a slideshow or movies or anything, and it just teaches you how to be literate in the 21st century other than using words and reading and writing, and how to operate technology so you can make it, I don't know, in the world today.
All right, thanks, Riley. And I think this also speaks directly back to what the other session, the rope session, was talking about, is the idea of a digital footprint. This is something, Riley's a high school senior. He's a pretty accomplished guy. He's the senior class president. He's applying to some competitive schools. This is something that's out there. This is something that schools can see. He's taken, we're not, what I want to emphasize here is we're not getting rid of reading and writing. We've got to have those. You know that those are needed for any job, for any kind of school. But there's other literacies, there's other things involved. So what the students did here is they wrote the synthesis paper like they would have done in the past. They took Brave New World, they took the film Gattaca, and then chose another utopia or dystopia of choice and wrote the 5-paragraph synthesis paper, analyzing common themes, all that kind of stuff. Finish that, turn it in, and boom, here's the next piece. Work with someone, or alone if you want to. Have the choice in that. Make a video however you want to make it. You can use iMovie, you can use JCut, you can use Video, you can use YouTube. I throw out a bunch of ideas, but I don't really care how they make it. I mean, they can choose. They can use whatever they want and make the video. course, cite your sources. That's a huge thing. Use good sources. I mean, that's definitely a skill to be emphasized and taught. But there's pretty cool stuff, I think, that comes out of this. All right, a little more food for thought. I'll roll through these pretty quick. Here's just some stuff about Google. You know, there's stuff about the Googled learner. This book, I don't know if you've seen it, Teaching 2030. If you it's pretty new. If you haven't seen this, read it. This is like super inspirational, just talking about the teaching profession. They talk about the Google learner. Here's another one, Prensky, Digital Natives, a little bit older, but lots of good ideas in here. And, you know, this phone right here, I'm controlling the mouse for the projector with my phone. Like 3 years ago, I had to pay $200 for a tool to do that. 3 years from now, who knows what we're going to do. I think that needs to inform what we do with teaching. This begs an important question. Braden, you want to share that maybe?
Yeah, what does it mean to be literate in 21st century?
It's a great question. It's something to think about. Maybe we can provide some sort of answer. Oler says it has to do with consuming and producing the media of the day. Think about. You're right. It does. That changes daily, right? Twitter. You know, you want to have a marketing job, you've got to be a Twitter pro. You know, you want to have a political job, you better be good at that. We came up with a cool game called Team Twitter for Points. It's kind of a fun thing. You use a little whiteboard, you know, ask your usual questions, but the answers have to come across in tweets. And we got the hashtags. Gets kind of fun. These guys like it. It's yeah, the football players seem to get into it. Let's see. Students interact, collaborating, publishing with peers, experts, and others. This is from ISTE. Definitely big things to keep in mind there. The gap between what's taught in school and what's required for the workplace. Thinking back again to that previous presentation, there was some great information about that. Students using digital media and environments to communicate, work collaboratively at a distance. That's a huge piece. If you want to check out our website, you can go to the blogs. You can see the blogs where we've written back and forth with kids in Colombia. Right now, my world literature class, we've got a unit coming up on literature from the Middle East. So standard text, documents, things as in the past. The preview for that is to think about what are your own preconceptions of the Middle East. Make a video like this, 3 to 5 minutes. It's got to ask some questions. It's got to identify important themes, use images. And the cool piece, and this is really what gets kids motivated, is you're not turning it into me. We're emailing these to students in Oman, and they're going to watch it and give us feedback and let us know what they think and try to answer those questions. And I can tell you, students are motivated by that. They think it's cool. I usually connect with teachers on a website called epals.com. Anyone use that or anything? Yeah, it seems to be pretty good. You know, it's just a forum. You create an account and you post something on there. I've got a project where I want to communicate with students in Britain about Heart of Darkness, and usually someone emails back and you get something going. You know, you have to be flexible because they'll probably want you to look at some of their work or whatever. But that's part of the deal. That's what makes it pretty cool. Mini literacies, NCTE. Maybe you've seen this. This is even a few years ago, the NCTE defining multiple literacies. I mean, if the NCTE is saying this, like, seems like we should probably catch on. So that's a little food for thought. Jared, Mar, any thoughts on this, or kind of how it hashes out in our class?
Well, I think like when we first start out the day, we usually are in like little pods with people. And like the clickers, at first like I felt a little awkward like trying to click in an answer of like what I was saying, but it really gets you talking because like you have to submit something before time runs out, and so it's like we sometimes switch off and my season comes up with like the best answer, and so it's a little bit more fun than just waiting for like the one kid who's always going to answer all the questions when the teacher asks them. You all just kind of like sit there and wait for him to give them the answer.
And it's just a little bit more interactive between like the whole class and stuff. It makes it more competitive and whatnot. We don't always just use the clickers. I mean, sometimes we'll use the whiteboards and whatnot. So.
Yep. Cool. Thanks, guys.